In this tutorial, we're going to walk through creating a realistic planet Earth in Blender using several types of image textures. We'll cover color mapping, reflectivity, surface bumps, and clouds, finishing with some professional compositing effects. So to start off with, modeling the Earth is very simple. We'll delete our default cube, and we will add a UV sphere, and we're basically done. We're going to right-click on our sphere and shade it smooth. And then we'll move into our shading workspace. We're going to create a new material. We'll call it Earth. And we're going to add an image texture node. So I'm going to go to a folder here where I have images of the Earth downloaded. I'm going to be using, these are from NASA, by the way. I'm going to be using 3 of these images, the Earth color map, the Earth bump, and the Earth specular mask. And I'm going to just drag and drop these down into my node editor. So let's organize these a little bit. There's my bump map on the bottom, and there's my specular mask. So if I just plug the color map straight into the base color of my Principled shader, it actually looks pretty good. By default, however, we've got a little problem. Blender uses UV mapping by default to map the textures onto our object here, and so you can see that we're getting some triangular edges up here at the top, these triangular ridges that appear at the poles. And you can see why. If we go into our UV editing workspace, you can see why that happens. These are triangles at the top and bottom of the UV sphere. And as that UV sphere is laid out in a UV map, you can see that we don't have complete coverage on the top or the bottom of our map here. So let's go back to our shading workspace and we'll correct this problem first. We are going to add a texture coordinate node, and that is going to be under Input, Texture Coordinate. And again, by default, what Blender is doing is essentially this. It's taking our UV map for our object and plugging it into the vector input of our color map here. You can see that that makes no difference. So what we are going to do is we are going to just use the generated output and plug that into our vector. And that messes things up pretty badly until we change our projection type from flat to sphere. And then that actually corrects all of the problems. You can see that the poles look okay now. And just to kind of demonstrate the difference here, I'm actually going to duplicate these 2 nodes. And I'll put a second set here that's using the old method, flat projection with the UV coordinates. And we'll zoom in on the poles here, and you can see when I switch between these 2 sets, you can see the difference that the different mapping makes, and we're clearing up that problem. So now that we've demonstrated that, we'll delete the incorrect nodes, and we'll move on. So we've got our color map, and the next thing we need to do is make it so that our oceans and our land have different levels of specular reflectance. So in order to do that, we're going to use our specular mask, and this is a black and white mask. I have an add-on enabled, by the way, called Node Wrangler. That's really handy. You can add it on here, Node Wrangler. Just check that box. And that allows me to hit Control-Shift-Click on a node and look at just that node's output, just what that node does. And so I'm just looking at the specular mask as mapped onto the Earth right now. And this looks pretty good, but again, we're going to be having that problem in the poles. So we need to change our projection modes here to sphere on both our specular mask and on our bump map, and we'll use the same generated output to map those. Okay, now if I Control-Shift-Click on our specular mask, you can see that it continues lining up with the orientation of our color map. But you can kind of see what this is. Basically, this is just a set of data that gives us a white value of 1.0 where there is land, and a black value of 0.0 where there is water. And I can use this to tell Blender what's reflective and what's not. So if I plug this specular mask straight from the color into the roughness value, then you can see that the oceans get very, very shiny and reflective, very mirror-like, and the land is very matte. It's not reflective at all. And that's kind of cool looking, but it's also not what I need here. I want something that looks a little more convincing. So the fix here is going to be to add one of two things. We can either add a brightness and contrast node, or else we can add a color ramp onto this noodle to change how the specular mask is responding. So let's hit Shift A, and I will add a color ramp, and I'll drop it onto that noodle, and let's hit Control-Shift-Click so we can see the effect of this while we dial it in. So if I take our white value here and bring it down, then you can see that not much happens. We're losing some of our blacks in more subtle areas where there's a little bit of gray anti-aliasing. So we're just kind of constricting the water. And we can also kind of expand the water the other direction. What we're going to do here is we are going to change this black value into a grayscale value. And that will allow us to reduce the amount of gloss on the oceans. And the less the less dark that this grayscale value is, the more diffuse the reflections on our oceans become. So that's actually kind of nice. I might increase it just a little so that we can see it a little better. Okay, so there we've accomplished some specular mapping. And now let's create a bump map. So I'm going to add a bump map node here, and we're going to plug earth bump color into the height, and then the normal into the normal value here. And by default it doesn't do an awful lot. One of the things that I need to do here is I need to change my color space from sRGB to non-color. That will help a little bit, but I'm also going to turn my strength up to about 15, and you can see that especially in a properly rendered view, things are really starting to happen here. Let's go back down to 0, and back up to 15, and you can see that basically it's faking surface detail by telling Blender where to put shadows as if there were surface displacement there. Now, one of the problems I'm running into here is that this bump map is compressed enough that I'm starting to get weird compression artifacts in the oceans as well, and I don't want that. So we're going to use data that we already have in here to mix out this garbage information. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my bump map and I'm going to add a mix color node here. I'm going to plug my bump map into input B, and in input A I'm just going to choose a pure black color. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this to say, hey oceans, I don't want you to have any variation at all. I just want you to be black. And on the land, I want you to show whatever data we already have for the land. So we're going to plug that into our height instead, and by default it's not going to help until we say, well, how do we separate the oceans from land? Well, fortunately the specular mask already does that for us, so we're going to use that as our mix factor. And now you can see that the oceans become clear and our land is still bumpy. So that's kind of handy. All right, next thing we're going to do here is we are going to create a cloud layer. So let's name this sphere, first of all, as Earth. And we are going to create a duplicate of this object, earth.001, and we'll just rename this to earth.clouds. And I'm going to scale this up. Tap S, 1.001, enter, so that it's just slightly larger than the Earth, and that way we don't get this visual confusion of what should be rendering when they're both in the exact same spot. And I still have our material called Earth on here. I'm going to duplicate that material, and I'll rename the duplicate to earth.clouds. And I can get rid of almost everything in here. So instead of Earth color map, I'm now going to bring in this Earth Clouds transparent map. And we'll change its projection type to sphere. We'll put this generated input into its vector input. We'll bring its color to the base color. And then, since this is a transparent map, I'm going to take its alpha output to the alpha input on our principled shader, and now we have clouds on the Earth. So to put the Earth in space, I'm going to go to the World Properties tab here. And let's see, here in my I have a file here called space HDRI, and it's not actually an HDRI, it's a PNG, but I'm going to open this and just drag this down in here so that we can use it. And for this image, I'm going to use this as my background image. I'm going to wrap this spherically around my environment. So we'll click on color, and we'll choose environment texture. And we'll choose space HDRI to put in there. And that actually surrounds the Earth with space. So if we were to render this image now, we'd actually, let me put my render samples down so we don't have to, oh, that's actually not bad, 128 will work. So I'm going to hit F12 and we're going to render this image. And it comes out looking okay, but I also want to go into my compositor and I'm going to add some glare. Add some compositor nodes, and I'm going to add, under filter, I've got glare. I'm going to drop that on there, and instead of streaks, I'm going to choose fog glow. And the threshold here is set pretty high at the moment. So if I reduce that down and increase the size of our glare, then you can see that we start to get some haze in areas where it's brighter. So if I want to increase that, I can also just increase the value of my light. So it's currently set to 1,000. Let's set it to 25,000. We'll re-render and see what that looks like. Once the compositor kicks in, now we're getting a lot of glare. I think we probably need to turn that down. So let's take the size of it down a little bit. And we can take the threshold up so that it requires a little bit of a brighter pixel before it kicks in the glare. And that's starting to look pretty decent. So I'm happy with that. I hope this is helpful. Have a great day.